A very good evening to one and all. I, Kartika Sharma, welcome Mr. Akshay Chopra to Enthusia Line, an initiative by Enthusia VJTI. I feel honored to have such an opportunity to be the host for today. VJTI was established in the year 1887 and has continued its proud legacy of being a premier institute in India and producing one of the finest minds. Enthusia by VJTI has been proficient in providing a platform for sports enthusiasts of different fields. COVID pandemic has forced us to stay at our homes, but nevertheless, this hasn't stopped us from organizing an online sports fest filled with fun and excitement. Our guest for today is Mr. Akshay Chopra, sir. Akshay Chopra, sir, is a graduate of the prestigious National Defense Academy and the Air Force Academy. He was commissioned in the Indian Air Force as a pilot and has been the captain of the Air Force bodybuilding team. He is among the most qualified health, fitness, and nutrition consultants in the country and has trained and studied under some of the best coaches here. Referred to as the encyclopedia of Indian fitness industry, he is India's most prolific writer and author of more than 90 books and ebooks in his field of research, along with hundreds of articles for various magazines and websites. Sir has conducted lectures and talks for thousands of people of all ages across the nation in various defense establishments, schools, universities, corporates, hospitals, and venues like Josh Talks. He's also the first fitness speaker to speak at the prestigious Indian International Science Fest. He is the co-founder of the Body Mechanics chain of gyms and India's first research-based YouTube channel and website, We Are Stupid. He's also the General Secretary for IBFF, that is International Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation of India. So the session to be followed will enlighten the young minds of VJTI and will help them in their future endeavors. Handing it over to you, sir, and post this, we will have a short Q&A session.
Sure. Thank you, Kartika. So how do you want me to begin? I mean, what exactly, you can ask me the questions or anything. And one more thing about the speaker. So I just add TEDx also to the list. So last Sunday was my TEDx speech at BITS Pilani.
Oh, that's amazing, sir. So we would like you to maybe introduce yourself. Say if you would like to speak a few words for our viewers from VJTI.
Okay, firstly,
post that.
You guys have already given a big introduction. Okay, yeah, everything is I think covered now. And again, apart from that, I'm more of a fitness entrepreneur now. Eventually, over the years, I became one, and I have my own brands. In the name of Mango Herbs. I'm also a brand ambassador and sort of a partner in a company. It's a German brand called Natural Teen. Then I have a program called Genesis, which is an online fitness program. And it started 1.5-2 years ago, but today it runs in over 40 countries, and literally thousands of professionals are enrolled in the program. It's more of an online training program. Okay, so that's that's about it. Yeah.
Amazing. So we can start off with the Q&A session to know more about your life and your other perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My first question to you is, what inspired you to join the Defense Forces and what was the reaction from your family and friends around you?
Okay, so when you talk about the Defense Forces, everybody who joins the forces always have a sense of patriotism in them. That's always there. That's something which will inspire any youngster. But of course, for me, more of love for the uniform and a lot of things that I used to see in the Defense Forces personnel. It's something which inspired me back then. That was somewhere in the initial 2000, late 90s, I'm talking about. All right. So then I prepared for the NDA and I was not as intelligent as you guys are. Okay. I was those last benchers in my school, and marks is something which I never even thought of getting. I was not much into studying as such. I was more into reading massive amount of books. I was a very avid reader. But I hated studying as such, academics, because something which was forced upon me or something which subject I didn't like, I never liked it. Like maths was my Waterloo, so I hated maths, and nobody expected much out of me. I was among those kids in the school whom the teachers used to say, stay away from these bunch of kids, otherwise तुम्हारा बच्चा fail हो जाएगा, right? So I was among those kids. But then everybody was shocked. I was not shocked, not something I, because I know I was preparing for the defense academy, and nobody knew, nobody expected me, but I cleared it in the first attempt. So everything got in the first attempt, the SSB and all those things. And it was a wonderful experience. And then the main thing changes when you once you enter the National Defense Academy. So that's something which is, I'll not even use the word life changing. It's a new life which starts there. Your entire perspective changes in the NDA, right? And yeah, so that's how I got into it.
So, following that question itself, could you please describe your life at NDA and what all lessons you learned there?
Okay, life at NDA is something which is very difficult to describe in a talk or interview. A lot of people ask me because that is something which you can only experience, and it's tough. It's massively tough. If you think now sitting here, back then what we did there in NDA, it's mind-boggling how we did it. But there is a reason why NDA is one of the toughest training academies in the world at that particular level. All right, it's not just physically tough, because people call that physically tough. We go way beyond physical at that age. So once you break your physical barriers, no, then your mental capacity comes into being. So that is what the aim of NDA is, to prepare officers, leaders, basically, and men who can rise to that level of leadership when it is required. So for that, you have to really go through that massively physical and mental grilling process. Okay, yeah.
It's a pleasure to listen. So, what were your responsibilities and tasks as an Air Force pilot, and how was the training there different from NDA?
Okay, so once you join NDA and you come out, NDA is National Defense Academy, so it's for all the three services. It's for, Air Force, Navy, and Army. And after the sixth term, that's the last term in NDA, we all trifurcate into our own academies, depending on, which all we have chosen. So like the Army guys go to, the IM Indian Military Academy in Dehradun. We go to Air Force Academy in Hyderabad. So when I went to FA, it was nothing like NDA. NDA was totally massively physical and extreme amount of training. AFA is a bit physical, but more of lot of mental and skillful work out there, because you start learning your flying. So it's a lot of studying, a lot of procedures. And let's say you're flying that was a time when we had the HPT for the flying, and your instructors teach you in a very soft and very hard way also. Okay. And then you do a lot of things in the aircraft. You fly your solo, you do your aerobatics and all those things. That is what you learn in the basic flying when you get into the Air Force Academy. And then in the last, while passing out, according to multiple aspects, requirements also, merit, requirement, your choices, you get trifurcated into either the transports, fighter, or the helicopter stream. Okay. I chose the transports, and I got transports. Thereafter I went to Bangalore, Yalanka, where our training happens. Okay. And once I started the flying there, the transport flying is something which has multiple roles. I mean, it's not every flying aircraft has its own roles. Transports has its own role. And I was posted. My first posting was in Baroda. Baroda is the 11th squadron, which is that time was the only squadron in the entire southwestern sector. So we had massive amount of flying. Day night we were flying, and every possible role you can imagine. Carrying passengers, VIPs, carrying weapons, bombs, even sometimes casualty evacuations. So you name a thing, we were all doing that. It depends on what task you used to get.
That sounds adventurous. So we know that you kind of shifted during your IF times into bodybuilding. So yeah. During your bodybuilding days, you had been in the company of legends like Mr. Prasad Kumar and Mr. Shirpat Singh. So what role did a mentor play in your life, and how did that shape your career?
Okay, the best part about being under the best people, for learning is you get inspired by the level they have achieved in their lives, the journey they have, gone through their own, and the way they teach you is something very different. So when you talk about mentorship, it's not just that you learn everything from one person. Over the years, lot of people and things also act as mentors. So it may be a movie which can inspire you. It may be a particular TV series you are watching which may inspire you. It may be a book, it may be people. So all these people played an important role in my life. Especially the coaches and all the ones I'm talking about are legendary sportsmen in their own fields. For example,
Right.
Chopra sir was my first coach, and he is a 7-time national high jump champion. Mr. Prasad Kumar is something, he's even more legendary in bodybuilding. He's 15 times Mr. India, 19 times services champion. So, when you train under people like them and they push you
Mhm.
beyond your physical limits during training, that's when you learn more about yourself, your own capacity, how to break it.
Yes, no, amazing. So moving on to the next question.
Sure.
So what do you think is the actual meaning of fitness? As many people perceive bodybuilding as equivalent to fitness. So what do you think are the other dimensions for fitness?
Okay, now there is a very common statement rolling around nowadays in social media. When you listen to everybody copy paste the same statement. Okay, it is the perfect balance of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being and all those stupid things, which I don't know who actually balances. Okay, so you're not able to balance all these things. It's fitness has different definitions in their own terms. No one person can say, okay, this is fitness. You have general definitions of fitness everywhere, which is fine. You can check the dictionary or any other scientific book, they'll give you the basic definition. But for me, over 2 decades in fitness of teaching literally thousands of people one on one, I have seen one thing: no one person has a common goal, no one person has a common idea about fitness, and everybody has a different requirement also. For
Mm.
example, in Genesis, when I train clients, I speak to clients every day, multiple clients I speak to from different countries. Everybody is from different age groups. They have a different lifestyle. They have own stress in their lives. Can be work stress, can be a relationship stress, can be a family stress, can be economic stresses. Then everybody has a different requirement. Some people may be professional sportsmen. Some people may be massively obese and overweight. Some can be medical issues. I also have multiple doctors and scientists and CEOs under me. They have a very hectic lifestyle. So everybody has a different understanding and need of fitness, right? For an athlete, the need will be to perform. Now, if you ask an athlete's view on fitness, he will call everybody else unfit, right? For him, even the best of the people are like, you can't do much because look at me, I'm so fit. No, because he has the time, he has the luxury, and it is his aim, right? He's ready to take in that pain. Now, if you ask a CEO or a doctor who are busy in surgeries, or CEOs handling hundreds of people under them, they can't actually, devote too much time. So then you have to make them understand what will really help them. And again, even in them, what is that individual suffering from? Right. So a lot of doctors who come to me who are maybe having a very sedentary lifestyle, maybe a minor medical issue or something. CEOs are something like today, back issues are very common, cervical issues are very common. So, so this is something which you need to focus on.
Yes, so it is about adapting to what your need in fitness is. Right.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So the next question for you is, everyone cannot afford gyms or is well off to follow a certain diet plan, but they still want to keep themselves fit. So what
Mhm.
recommendation do you have for those enthusiasts?
Okay. Now, firstly, everybody can afford gym. It depends on the type of the gym you're joining. Today, gyms are quite cheap, and they can be very high end. They can be very reasonable, but at the same time, nobody needs a gym as such. If you want to be fit and strong, you can do it that at any place, but you should know how to do it,
Mm.
right? So now let's say a lot of people and all, you ask a lot of medical professionals, they'll tell you, okay, go for walks and all. No, that won't help you much. Going for walk is just a very small component of fitness. Now, I had, when I used to, give a talk to researchers and medical students and all, and I used to ask them questions. Unfortunately, that amount of information is not there in their syllabus. Okay, so let's say a lot of people suffering with osteoporosis. Now, people suffering from osteoporosis or bone issues don't understand that research is very clear that walking won't help you much with osteoporosis. You need to work on your strength. You need to work on your bones and muscles. So strength training is must for them. So when it comes to the fitness, there are multiple components. You can talk about fitness, okay? Strength, endurance, then flexibility, agility, speed, coordination, balance. A lot of them come into play. But strength should always form a base of your entire, base of fitness. You should understand the meaning of strength training. And when I mean strength training, it can be anything. It can be with the tool, your own body weight, or something other which object you're using. Okay, but you should know, if let's say today you tell me how to do body weight workouts, I don't have anything. I know how to do it, but then you should learn how to do the body weight workouts or whatever way you are trying to get fit. Okay, that is one. uh, Diet is something again which I'll say is quite individualistic, because every culture has their own diets, everybody has different eating patterns, people have different allergies and sensitivities. So I always tell it is not that simple to give them a one stop shop advice. Okay, because that is wrong, that is something which is misleading, and it can actually harm some people, right? So again, if you want to get into really you want to get fit, you want to get healthier, you should have some knowledge. You start reading about things, start listening to, today videos are available on YouTube and all, start listening to people, you'll understand more in a more simplistic manner.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
you mentioned about strength training. What about people who focus just on losing weight? Do they require strength training as well? Or
Okay, anybody who's focusing on losing weight has no idea what he's actually focusing on. That's the harsh word. See, firstly, there's nothing called weight loss. There's a difference, and I made a video on this. There's a difference in weight loss and fat loss. Okay, weight loss is something which happens to you every day. If you check your weight in the morning and evening, it will be different. Okay, because that is common water weight fluctuation happening in every human being. That doesn't mean you're losing or gaining weight. On the other hand, it is very easy to fool people by doing faster weight loss, because weight loss is very easy to happen. And how does that happen? When you start going on extreme diets, start, a lot of dietitians and all do this, extreme low fat diets, low carb diets, putting you on zero salt diets. What happens? Your body start excreting a lot of water. And if you don't do exercise, then you start losing muscle mass, which will further make you lose weight. You think you are going down on the scale, but you're actually getting thinner and weaker. You're not getting fit. Fitness comes with when you focus on fat loss, okay, and strength training as your base.
correct. Okay. Thank you, sir, for that. So following that, we see many of the influencers suggesting diet and exercises on various social media platforms, and every one of them has a different suggestion. Some say keto, some say gluten-free is the key to health, and some say coffee is bad for you. Also, we know that you're pretty fond of coffee. So how do we get to know which one is actually correct for us and will help us in the long run?
It can be dicey. So I was even when I was speaking to the students in BITS Pilani last Sunday, the same questions are there, because I know what is the main problem. The problem here is, and I gave a line there in my TED talk, that Google is a search engine. It's not a truth engine. It will give you what you search for. So if you want to search for wrong things, it will show you wrong things. That's why Google is so attractive. That's why everybody wants to search. Okay. Now let's say you search for, let's say, green tea, and if you write down, okay, green tea for weight loss, it will give you all the stupid articles on green tea for weight loss. But if you actually do proper research and understand how studies and everything works, science works, you'll understand green tea doesn't do anything for weight loss. It's very good for the health, but it has no relation to weight loss. It's very clear. Now I'm having black coffee, not because I want weight loss, because I like it. And anybody who says coffee coffee is bad for you, tea is bad for you, haven't even studied a paper in their lives. You need to understand that social media is not restrictive to people who are reading or understanding things. It is for everybody. So anybody can come on internet, write anything, speak anything. Nobody is stopping them. There's no major regulation. All right. So anybody who's suggesting you keto diet or anything, there are a lot of counter arguments which we do with such people. Gluten-free diet. I wrote a book on gluten and told why these stupid gluten-free diets are just for not even 1% of the population. It's gluten is basically a protein found in certain grains and certain other foods. Now, just like some people are allergic or sensitive to certain things, some people may be sensitive to gluten. Okay, people with celiac disease, people having with gluten intolerance. So when they eat, these particular grains like what do you call wheat and all, they may have some stomach issues and all. That's fine. That's an individual thing. That doesn't mean that everybody will start having that issue. Okay, so that now ho kya raha hai, these are trends. Every 6 months you see new trends coming in, and generally the origin of these trends is all Western countries, primarily America. And the reason they do this, the trends all come from there, is because if you actually observe and ask an American what is your native diet, they have no native diet. They keep on searching for something. So one day they are supporting keto, then GM, then paleo diet, and intermittent fasting. Then they come up with Asian diet, then Indian diet, and then These are all why? Because they're confused themselves. Okay. Yeah.
So, sir, would you suggest us to follow our own Indian traditional diet? Or, okay,
That's the only diet you can sustain. You can't sustain any other. Alien diets are fine for clicking pictures and putting it on Instagram, right? That's
yes.
fine. You make people, show off that, okay, I'm having a keto and all these things. And so that's fine for that time. But then the question again is, till when will you sustain? Right? And no person in the world who is actually busy and doing something worthwhile in their life will have time to focus too much on such things. They want a simple and sustainable approach.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, as engineering students, we need to research on topics and get comfortable in reading journals and research papers. Facts are the basis. So, since we know you have the knowledge of facts regarding sports fitness, we would like to know your way of research. How do you go about learning those things?
Okay, so research is something which I learned on myself. I mean, you guys at least taught in the school. We NDMA, it's a basic bachelor's thing. Nobody tells you how to do research and all. And thereafter, there's nothing about research because it's totally military studies and everything, right? But research is something I started doing initially when I was into, reading about books and all those things. I also used to believe a lot of topics. Okay, if this guy has written a book, then it may be something right. But then I found that no, even if somebody has written a book, it can be massively biased. The person can be absolute stupid and he can still write a book. Nobody's stopping him from writing a book or an article, right? Then I started understanding the meaning of research. And I started understanding how to read research paper, how to understand research papers. Also started reading and listening to those experts in that particular topic or field who were doing unbiased researches. Slowly, slowly you come to know. So now today, let's say I take a topic. Let's say I recently wrote a ebook on vitamin D. Okay. Now vitamin D ke upar I had almost 1 month or so. Okay. And like I started with understanding the basic research studies, reading about it, collecting material, collecting multiple research studies. Then slowly when you have a huge amount of material, then you start distributing exactly what subtopics you want. Okay, so this is exactly how it is. So then you go deeper into every question which vitamin D has generally from people. People will ask you how much vitamin D should be used. Is sun enough? If it is not enough, then what to do? What foods are rich? All these. Then these separate questions come in, and then you go deep into those questions. So and the speed comes in research once you are doing it every day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your past. Can you please share about your early setbacks that you faced in the beginning of your career in bodybuilding and how you dealt with them?
Bodybuilding.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
So when you began with your journey there.
Okay, my journey began quite early, and I had setbacks throughout my life. So that's what everybody will and should have. You learn a lot from your setbacks. The time you have a setback, you don't realize that it's a setback. You always feel bad, but eventually you realize that it actually happened for a reason. All right, and the setbacks will continue to happen. Okay. So first one, of course, was when I flunked in my maths in 12th. That was the biggest setback, and I couldn't believe it because I was among those guys who thought that okay, 80% to aayenge. 80% was big thing in 2000. It's like somebody scoring 95, 97 now. Okay, so itne to aa hi jayenge, but then I flunked and I realized no, my bhandals were all goal. But eventually I worked hard, and when I gave the exam again, it was fine. I passed, and that was the question which even the SSB guys asked me during the NDA this thing, that what happened. So I told them I was an average student. I thought I was right, but I was wrong. Then I prepared well and I moved ahead.
That was inspiring, sir.
That was fun.
So we have a lot of audience questions coming in. So I'll take up a few of them. One of them being, how have you been consistent in conducting live sessions and fitness series videos along with writing?
I was conducting live sessions, a lot of live sessions I did. Thoda sa I'm inconsistent now, but I am the only YouTuber in fitness who has conducted more than 150 live sessions till now, and multiple live sessions and online sessions, webinars and seminars with a lot of people like you guys, your college or institute or some other university or something. So pretty consistent, and I think more engaging now. Slowly, I'm slowly slightly lower on the live part now. Not doing it very frequently, but still I try to do it some other time. The live keeps on happening on YouTube.
So your discipline in life is impressive.
Thank you.
So, following that, we would like to know how you started your business, Mango Herbs. And
Okay. Okay. So Mango Herb started again when I was doing one of my research on Shilajit, pure Shilajit, and I was studying some research studies. I found some very compelling research on Shilajit, very strong research on Shilajit. Okay, and that was the time I, found one of my, in fact, it's one of my relative only with whom I'm doing the business. So we talked to each other and spoke to him, and should we launch a high quality Shilajit, search for it, because it's something which really helps people, and people are searching for highest quality. Then yes, we started with the basic concept. But it's a very tough journey. You can't when you start manufacturing a product, no, it has its own challenges, because I, being more of a researcher and a practical guy, I have no idea about getting into business, and business is something totally different, which I'm slowly learning now. Okay, so when it comes to the product, what should be the name, the design, the box, where to source it, how much to source it, the funding, the distribution, everything is all business. So then we slowly launched the first product, Shilajit Pro, and people automatically on my channel keep on giving me advices. Okay, so try and launch this, try and launch this. And my aim was always to launch the purest possible I can get in this country. And if it is not in this country, then you can get from abroad. But my aim is to launch the purest, and whatever I have launched is as of now the purest form you can, if you compare with the other pure ones. There's nothing, nobody can say, okay, this is a much better product than mine, because I know I'm using the base and the purest forms. So eventually today we have launched 10 products in Mango Herbs, and I think 3 more are coming very soon in Mango Herbs, and with Natural Teen also. I'm coming with the pre-workout. I hope next 10-15 days when that will also be coming.
amazing. So that was very insightful. So next audience question is how to prevent injury while strength training.
Good question. Iska answer एक line में तो नहीं होता है, but the first thing is start doing strength training. And most people don't do strength training and they think they will know the answer. No, you have to do it first. Second is once you go to a particular gym or whoever you're training under, you should understand the first thing is always learning the right movement. If you understand how a movement is to be performed, what muscles it is targeting, how to focus on that particular muscle during the movement, how to control your tempo. Tempo is the speed of the movement, all these things. So then you will slowly, the form, if you learn the right form, automatically you will prevent it. But again, injury is something which I'll say can happen to anybody. Even the best of the people who are very, very careful, injuries do happen to them. Almost every professional athlete has suffered from injuries. Almost everyone, right? If not in the initial days of the career, then maybe later. I have had my share of injuries. I had a very serious shoulder injury and had a big surgery for the shoulder, multiple back issues, So all these things are quite common in lifting. But when I talk about this lifting, it's quite extreme one. For most people, it's not the case. If you learn the right movement and understand how to progress properly in the strength training, I don't think injuries will happen that often, or it's such a common thing. No, it's a very rare thing then.
Okay, so is it necessary to have a professional coach when you are beginning with strength training? Because as we discussed, it's prone to happen. So you need to know the movements and everything. So would you always need a coach?
Okay. Karthika, what year are you in?
I'm in my second year.
Second. What are your subjects?
I'm doing electrical engineering in VJTI.
And which is your favorite subject?
For now, I would say probably networks. Networks.
Great. So if you're studying networks and I give you the best books on networks, will you need a teacher or not?
I would.
That sounds. A teacher is always needed. A teacher is somebody who will teach you with a lot of experience and knowledge. And that is, you may gain knowledge, but you will lack experience. Okay. And that is where the teacher comes in, that how to push, what wrong you're doing. He'll stop you at that time and he'll correct you. And then this adds to your experience.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So that was, that summed it up. So our next question to you is: many people they advise that you need to have certain additives, that you need to take certain steroids when you start off with lifting, or else you won't have gains, you won't have the body you want. So is that really required? What's the myth behind it?
Now, what has happened is things which were confined to a very, very, very small part of the population have gained popularity, or I'll say have become more infamous because of social media. So now there are two type of people. One are those, of course, who are doing wrong by pushing these things to people who really don't need them. So there are people under me who use anabolic steroids because they use it for the reason because they're into a particular sport in which the anabolic steroids are used. For example, bodybuilding or powerlifting. In these sports, steroids are used. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And anybody who comes in bodybuilding, competitive professional bodybuilding, and he says, I'm not using it, he is 100% lying to you. Okay. Yeah. So that's how, this is the reason, people watch my channels also. I'm very blunt on these things because if it is hidden, it will harm more people. Okay. But this is not more than not even 1% of the population, even much lesser than that. That's the only amount of people in this country who will play bodybuilding or powerlifting. No, rest everybody doesn't need anabolic steroids. Okay. It has nothing to do with any normal individual. A lot of youngsters with wrong influence come to me and ask me, sir, please give me some anabolics. I tell them, no, if you're not competing and you don't even have a basic base, don't even think I'll give you. Okay. So that's about anabolics. Yeah. Plus, and the second thing about anabolics are, again, as I said, the misinformation. So because it's a topic again for studying, anabolic steroids are not for bodybuilder sports. It's primarily used in the hospitals by doctors. Steroids are made for medical reasons. It was never made for sports. The side effect is you gain muscle mass and strength. So even a cancer patient, a patient with suffering from AIDS and other multiple burn injuries and all, they are given the same anabolic steroids because anabolic steroids work. They really work. And they work on these people who are absolutely immobile and losing muscle mass, like, people with AIDS and all. So for them, it helps them prevent the muscle loss and help them grow the muscles. Now, the same effect will also be there in any human being if it is there on an ill patient. So that's why sportsmen started using it and they found massive increase. That's why the doping agencies came into being, because people were using it extensively. Right. So this is how things are. This is the right knowledge. But people who are telling you, okay, you're going to the gym, everybody is taking anabolics, this is all wrong. These are those people who have never done a push-up in their life, right? And they then start stating things. No, this is not the right approach.
Yes, and it also happens so that some of the kids, teenagers, get addicted to the steroids. So how would you advise them to prevent such things, to prevent falling into it, and if they actually get addicted?
My question to a teenager who is getting firstly addicted is something very different, because why the hell are they into steroids? I'm going to ask these teenagers. So I haven't found any logical answer, barring some one or two. Okay, that why the hell are they taking? And teenage is no age to take even steroids. I will not even suggest any teenager to get into competitive bodybuilding that early, right? For people, teenagers who come to me who want to get into competitive bodybuilding, my aim is to build their base for next 1 to 2 years of very strong, heavy lifts and strength, so that they get into that peak base form. And then you move on to anabolics only when you think and you've decided that, yes, now I'm going to enter bodybuilding competition. And that is also from a very limited amount of dosage, and that's how you move up. But for rest of the teenagers, why are you taking anabolics? And the reason they get addicted is because anabolics will give you results. Now, the moment you stop taking anabolics, you will start getting back to the square one. Of course, because it's through the anabolics only you're getting the effect. Now, when you start losing your muscle mass slowly and you keep on looking yourself in the mirror, you'll see that, okay, you're shrinking. You are not as good when you are taking anabolics. So you want to go back. So this is that vicious circle which comes into play.
So our next question from the audience is how to not focus on gains and be patient.
No, you should be focusing on gains. It's not that you should not focus on gains, but you should not focus on, you should not compare yourselves with the people on the social media, especially the competitive guys you see or the big guys you see, very muscular guys, because most of them are on anabolics and they have been working since decades now. So you should not compare with them. Growing muscle mass and getting stronger is a very slow and natural process. If you do it naturally, it's a very slow process. I mean, so you have to have patience in terms of the right approach. That's why I say knowledge is very important. If you know that what you should focus on, why, and the why behind things, you will always get the answers correctly. Now, what you should be focusing primarily in your gym or whatever your strength training program you're following is to focus on strength in terms of progression. You should be getting stronger in the gym. Your strength should be increasing. That is your focus. If that is happening slowly and slowly with the right diet, of course, supporting it, you will automatically start gaining muscle mass.
Yes, so that was insightful. So our next question for you is, how was your experience while searching for the purest honey in the mountains?
Yeah, good. It was a good experience. Honey was something which a lot of clients of mine demanded, and it was a product I really wanted for my family also. So I somehow came to know that there are multiple places in India, multiple forests, multiple farms where you get very pure honey. But somebody told me that if you want to get one of the purest, you should go in the mountains. And higher you go, the purer, the chances of getting the purest honey. So I remember I was with my team, all of us for the Mango Herbs team, and we planned to drive down. So I just drove. I drive myself. I don't let anybody drive in the mountains, right? I drove from Delhi directly to Kinnor. Kinnor is something which takes around 12 to 14 hours drive from Delhi, right? Drove till there, and I had my arrangement in the army mess there. It was below. And did you see that there was a landslide which was happening in the Uttarakhand region some time
Yes.
back, Himachal region, that region? No? That was
Right.
exactly next to my army base only, where I was staying. So that landslide wala area, there the army bases are there. I was staying there. Next day we went to search for the honey, and he showed us how the honeybees are reared since a very long time by the local villages. And he showed us purest white honey and normal honey. We're already tied up with that person. He's a very influential person there. And then we made the business talks and everything. And then slowly we got the honey, and he himself said that you should get it tested from any place in the world. And then our aim was to get it tested from Germany, which is the so-called the golden standard. There's a test called NMR testing for honey, which is considered to be the main testing of honey. And the European standards are very high. So we sent the honey to Europe. And the best part was when we got the reply, it was very encouraging. The Germans wrote in their report that this is the first sample from India we have got of such kind. We have never had this sample before. Okay. And then that was the time we started manufacturing and launched Honey Pro.
That sounds like a beautiful journey. So moving on to a little bit of different topic. How would you suggest teenagers to have good quality sleep? Since we barely get 3 to 4 hours of sleep with our assignments. So what would you suggest us to do?
Are your teachers listening to this talk?
They would be probably.
All right. So you want me to give the truth, or you want me to give a lollipop answer?
No, sir. We want the truth.
All right. I'll give you the lollipop answer first. Okay, you should set up an alarm and stop watching television and don't use your cell phones. And now just throw all this advice in the dustbin. The actual and the bitter fact is that unfortunately you can't help it. You will sleep less. You are in a college, you're preparing for your exams, you have a very challenging career ahead. You will have your assignments, you will have less time to sleep, and there is nothing you can compensate it with. This is a bitter truth. Anybody who's telling you otherwise hasn't gone through the grind.
Yes.
Try and ask your seniors or engineering seniors who are passed out, or anybody even now. Tell me one person who says, no, okay, this is the way you can get 8 hours of sleep. There's not one person who can say this, because that's how the student life is supposed to be. You are not supposed to sleep for 8 hours. This is not how luxurious a life should be. I find a student sleeping for 8 hours, I'll better kick him and wake him up and tell him, what are you planning for your future? Good enough. 4, 5 hours, 6 hours is good enough for you. But what is more important is quality sleep.
Yes,
Most
sir.
people, at your age, your recovery process is quite fast, so you can easily recover in that 5 to 6 hours of sleep. If again, sleep is something which everybody has different management levels. Some people can do very well with less sleep. Some people are always tired even if they have 8 hours of sleep. Okay, because the quality of sleep is not good. So you have to see yourself how it is. Aim should be to improve the quality. One thing I'll always suggest is keep your cell phones and all away at least 30 minutes to 1 hour before your sleeping time. It will really help in improving the quality of your sleep. Because I know what you guys are doing is sleeping, when you're lying on the bed with your phone and suddenly you wink and the phone falls on your nose. So don't break your nose. A lot of students are doing that today with the phone falling. Try and keep it in a separate area. It switched off because the waves interfere with your peaceful sleeping. Just a
Yes, sir.
matter of, that sleep time, nothing else.
So we are definitely going to implement that now.
Yeah.
So our last question for the day for you is, what
Yeah.
message would you like to give our students aspiring a career in health and fitness?
Okay, firstly, the first myth I'll clear about the career is people don't find it as a very lucrative career. A lot of people have the myths. I'm coming up with India's first and the most extensive course on a career in fitness and nutrition. It's for the beginners and for already who are established in the career and not able to move further out. So it will be a very big course, almost 60 plus videos and everything, a lot of course notes. So in that course, in short, what I've explained is that firstly, this is a myth that this is a not a lucrative career, because fitness initially was only confined to being a fitness trainer or a coach or maybe a sports teacher, and dietitian was again to confine to being a dietitian. But today with online aspects, there are multiple revenue streams opening up. Okay. And if you know how to understand the business aspects, how to understand the marketing aspects, how to become a personal brand in a particular field, then it's not just fitness. You will be successful in any other field you're entering into. Even for engineering, you will always find people who are taking up a job happy, but then there'll be people who will be doing a lot of other things along with the job, right? Because they're trying to open up multiple revenue streams, and today with online opportunities, there are multiple opportunities to open up these things.
Yes, sir. So that brings us to the end of this very enlightening session. We are really honored by your presence here, sir. We hope you really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for taking your time off your busy schedule and presenting us with your illuminating and inspiring thoughts. We are also grateful for the amazing audience with their questions. This is Kartika Sharma signing off for the day, and stay tuned for more such sessions. Thank you so much, sir, and have a great day.
Thank you, Karthik, and thank you all the students. Please enjoy yourselves.
Thank you so much, sir.